I did not use performance-enhancing drugs. Powerful words spoken by Rafael Palmeiro at the initial congressional hearings to investigate steroid abuse in Major League Baseball. For years, Major League Baseball turned its back on steroid abuse, yet reaped the rewards. During the home run race of 1998, America and the world tuned in to watch Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa battle it out to see who would beat Roger Maris' single-season record. Baseball enjoyed huge ratings and ticket sales. Now, as these giants of the diamond retire and look to move into the Hall of Fame, the media, baseball, and our elected officials are all branding them cheaters. I worked in sports radio back in Boston as a producer for the Rico Petrocelli Show on 1060 WBIX. Rico was a shortstop for the Boston Red Sox, including the 1967 Impossible Dream season. Many of our guests on the show were former Major League ball players, and to listen to them tell stories about the good old days and what went on in the clubhouses back then, well, today's steroid problem pales in comparison. Ladies and gentlemen, these players gave everything they had to you on the field and are now being erased from our memory. And if some people have their way, they're going to be erased from the record books as well. George Will of townhall.com explained, Barry Bonds' records must remain part of baseball's history. His hits happened. Erase them and there will be discrepancies in the record keeping of the pitchers who gave up these hits. Besides, the people who care about the record books, the true fans, will know how to read it. Make no mistake, baseball writers alone right now hold the power. These are the same writers who heralded these titans. Now, after writing about their athletic prowess, toting their personal relationships with the players, and protecting the star of said players, these writers are getting revenge for feeling duped. As Dan Patrick, former personality for ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, said, I accept some small share of the blame today, as I, like 99% of the public, bought into baseball's long ball barrage. And I was in denial about where the power came from. You don't want to know how your hot dog was made. The problem is that fans in America, baseball in general, we don't care what these players are juicing. Manny Ramirez led the National League outfielders in All-Star balloting for the first 2 months of this season, despite being suspended for 50 games for steroid abuse. Despite all the steroid allegations, Major League ballparks are still selling out, and baseball is as popular as ever. Please remember that Major League Baseball did play a huge role in all of this. Despite all the other major sports, including the Olympics, having policies and testing for banned substances, Major League Baseball had nothing. Baseball took a passive stance as each year its players got bigger and bigger, with not so much as a question being raised. Finally, in 2003, baseball somewhat got a clue and did a random smattering of testing to determine if there was even indeed a problem. Despite being a confidential test, the names of the 104 players that did test positive in that test are now slowly being leaked one by one. Baseball's major stars are of course the first to come out. It's as if the writers in baseball want to taint the sport. And unfortunately they're protecting the small, no-name players who also tested positive but would not create a media stir. How can an organization have policies and procedures that encourage unethical action, reap the rewards of these actions, and then turn their backs on the people that took those actions and brand them as cheaters? The line needs to be drawn for our fallen heroes, and it needs to be drawn now. Here is what we need to do. First, the names of the remaining players on that list need to be sealed. Enough is enough. People gave information that was supposed to be confidential in an effort to help curb a problem. Now, in an effort to gain viewers or readers, these names are being leaked. The damage may have been done for these unfortunate few, but we can protect the rest of the players. A former steroid dealer for Major League players told ESPN's Outside the Lines, when I first sat down with Senator Mitchell, they promised me there wasn't going to be a public lynching. The names were never going to come out. This was just information to find out the scope of the problem. They only later came to me and told me that these names were going to be released. That killed me because I never wanted to hurt anyone. The baseball writers, the sole voters for the Hall of Fame, need to be aware they are not doing the fans' bidding. They are on a self-righteous crusade. What makes them the be-all and end-all on who gets bestowed the greatest honor in baseball, the Hall of Fame? What about the fans? Without us, there's nothing. There's no game, and if there's no game, there's no need for a weekly or daily column. Because we care, you're employed. Somehow the line has been blurred, and these writers feel that it's their right to dictate to us who will be forever remembered in baseball's hallowed halls. Zev Shavitz, a baseball beat writer and a voter for the Baseball Hall of Fame, recently wrote in the New York Times that for decades, baseball beat writers, Hall of Fame's designated electoral college, shielded the players from scrutiny. When the internet allowed fans to see what was really happening, these writers were revealed as stooges and fools. In a rage, they formed a posse to rid the sport of all drug users. Baseball turned a blind eye and enjoyed the fruits of the abuse. Now, it is ashamed of these players, but I don't see it returning any revenues gotten from this unfortunate era. Writers taking advantage of the men who once dominated their cause. These tales of epic achievement are now sordid stories of how we were all fooled. The problem is, the fans enjoyed this time. We all watched. We all look back fondly. We remember where we were when McGwire hit that home run. The accomplishment of these tainted players are still part of the game, and these players gave their all. They only did exactly what baseball and the writers allowed them to do. Now all of a sudden everybody has a conscience? We must use our voice to call out these writers. Use their mediums against them. Fill internet blogs with demands for these players' achievements to be recognized. The op-ed columns of the papers these writers write for need to have a barrage of demands of accountability. Speak for the fans, not yourself. Fill inboxes of the writers, telling them that their self-righteous posturing will not be tolerated. We need to call the talk shows these writers routinely guest on. The masses must be heard. Wake up baseball, wake up writers. Suspended Manny Ramirez is still a fan favorite, as evidenced by the All-Star balloting. The fans don't care about steroids. We just want to watch our favorite teams and favorite players. We just want to watch baseball. The moral high ground you're standing on now is just landfill of your own words. Okay? Your high horses and face-saving tactics are as unwanted as rain at the ballpark. We, the fans, need to have a voice. You need to hear it. You need to act now.